Michael Elliott here, guys. I know that you love it when I give away N8N workflows on my channel. It's been a little while. Today I'm giving away a golden one, whether you're a beginner or whether you're an experienced N8N user. This is going to scrape Google Maps for local businesses based off of form submission that you get to choose what type of leads, what services they're in. And where did this spawn from, right? You will have spoken to businesses or will be wanting to speak to businesses that want leads, right? Last week, I spoke to 3 individual businesses and all 3 of them told me they were still searching by location and copy and pasting into a Google Sheet. We just can't have that in this day and age. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. And I sold all 3 of them this exact flow. So I thought, you know what? You guys can have it. I've also started selling some websites and automation, and it's going really well using this scraper. As always, with anything that I give away, I give a full breakdown of exactly how you can make this work inside of your instance. The link is going to be in the description below for you to download this flow. All you've got to do is update your credentials and you're away. That's it. So very, very quickly before I jump into that, I wanted to show you this. The scraper that we're using in Apify is called Google Maps Scraper. Some of you may be aware of it, some of you may not. But when it comes down to the pricing, just if you are a beginner, if you're on the free version, there is no discount, right? And that means that enriching leads, so business enrichment leads, which is what we're trying to do here, and adding social media profile enrichment is very expensive. So inside of the flow, we'll go back to the flow and I'll show you why it matters in a moment. Let's execute this workflow and you'll see this form pop up. Now, what do we want? Let's say restaurants. And let's say New York. And let's say we want to crawl 50 businesses. We want 50 leads. And the amount of reviews that we want to scrape, which you have to keep cost in mind for on it, let's say we just want to choose 25. The maximum leads to enrich, we're going to do 50, and I'm going to submit the flow. Now that flow is submitted, we can see that the flow is working. Now going back to this, the reason why this is so important is because this is a very, very strong scraper. And I've had to trim it back a little bit for you so that you don't spend, you get maximum value for the money that you spend. But there is no sort of cap on how deep you can go when it comes down to the information that you actually try and enrich and scrape. So we'll see here. So business enrichment, right? Social, you got, scrape Google ID by places. You can add those. Scrape without URLs. Company contacts enrichment. Enable Facebook profile scraping. Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, X. You can enrich from website here, company contacts enrichment from website. You can turn all of these things on. Now, how would you turn those on inside of my flow? Well, how you would turn those on inside of my flow is you would come down inside of here and you'd look at this JSON and you can see here, YouTube's, TikToks, Instagram, Facebook. These are all obviously the keys, but the values are all false. If you wanted to turn them on to get really detailed information, you can. But by turning them to true, but the cost is going to go up inside of Apify. So for a use case like this, I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to leave it exactly as it was before I did it, and I'll be back with you once this completes. So the scrape is done, and we're away. So when it comes down to the flow, what actually happened? We created a new spreadsheet. How do you get the spreadsheet URL for the spreadsheet it created? You scroll down and you just grab it from the bottom right there. So you go into the node, scroll to the bottom and grab the URL. That'll give you your sheet of where your leads list is going to be. Then we put the search items into an array. You don't really have to worry about this, and especially if you're a beginner, don't worry about the code node, even though you could just ask the code node using AI and it would do it. But basically, we need a JSON output as an array here so that Apify can understand the request. We want to search for restaurants, as you would see it in Google. Then we made the individual scrape on Apify. I mentioned about these here. We could have scraped more information if we wanted it, but to keep costs down, especially if you're on a trial base, we didn't. We then edit the fields. Nothing special inside of the edit fields column. Have a look once you download it. Then there's a switch rule. So whether the lead enrichment is empty or not, okay? If it's not empty, then it will route north and it will go and it will add it to the enrichment list leads. These are the leads that you pay for. These cost you money. If you look at our run, it cost us 62 cents for those 13 leads that are fully enriched. What does a fully enriched lead list look like inside of here? We get the title. Let me just pop this. We get the category, so what sort of restaurant it is. We get the actual title of the restaurant. We get its location, the city, the state. Obviously, we chose New York anyway. The website for all of them, contact numbers for all of them, full address, reviews, which come at an additional cost. But when it comes down to scraping reviews, the thing is that you can tap in if they've got low reviews or if there's an issue to potentially sell them AI services or sell them whatever services it is that you have to offer. You can sell them. It pulls the reserve table URL and a few other little bits of data enrichment here, right? That's all gets aggregated together, but that we then pull out contact name, first and last name, email addresses if and where possible. It normally spits it out at like a 60-70% rate of actual email addresses, and we get the LinkedIn list. So we've got a full lead, a lead list literally sat here now of enriched leads. But what I didn't want to do is just give up on anything that wasn't like enriched as a lead. So what I did is I built out the second, and this is why we call the second flow anyway in the first place. And what happens is it splits all of the leads out and it loops over the individual items and it scrapes the site. And it will scrape the website, and what it's trying to find is trying to find an email. And we're using some JavaScript, which again, you don't need to worry about, using some JavaScript to try and find the emails on the site so that we get a second bite at the cherry, if you like. That will then continue to rinse and repeat until all leads are done. And it will then go through. And if it does have an email inside of it, as you can see here, 65 items, it will remove duplicates, combine multiple emails for the same lead, merge it back together and add it to the enriched, not enriched lead list. So what you can see here is we have all of this. This is great. We paid for this. This is fantastic. And this gives us exactly what we want. But out of 50, there was 13. If we go inside of the website leads list and have a look inside of there, you'll see that we still got all of this information, which is incredibly valuable. We got the phone numbers so that we can do whatever we want to do, SMS, whatever. But we also managed to find some email addresses for these, multiple in some cases, for the individual websites as a bonus. I think there's 8 in there that we managed to find using the JavaScript. So that means that you're out of a list there. I think we scraped 50. I think we were left with 21 leads where we have contact information for them, but we were only charged for 13 leads that we got paid for. The rest of it was based off of the N8N flow, and that's why I built it the way that I did, to give you that opportunity. I hope you've liked this video. The link is in the description. Download this, but also download the AI 72-hour blueprint that I've put together. It's got custom looms about how I go and win clients for AI services, and it's important in your position now, especially if you're a beginner. Finally, if you're interested in another N8N workflow that actually produces presentations, watch this video next, because that is another N8N workflow that you can download and use. My name's Michael Elliott. I'll catch you in the next one.